Good morning, my name's Andy Fox, and today I'm going to show you a routine of how to clean the nozzle plate and back flush and flush out any debris that might be in the drop generator in the print head. So if we look at the print head, you can see the drop generator is right here. It has the two tubes coming into it, and on the front of the drop generator is the nozzle plate. It could be either a 40 micron, 65 micron, or 75 micron. Has the two little Phillips screws, very tiny screws at the front end. So what you will notice is that the jet, when we are looking at the jet stream coming down the system, it should be going into the return gutter at the bottom and being vacuumed back into the system. What you will see, if there's debris in the drop generator, what you'll see is that stream will be wandering. Now you can try fixing it with some back flushes, and there's a previous video that I've done on how to do a back flush. I would try 5 or 6 of those back flushes, and that's purely getting your cleaning and literally aiming it up into the nozzle at the same time as hitting the back flush button and squeezing it, and you'll see the cleaner coming up into the tubes here. That gets rid of any debris that's collected in the back of the nozzle. Sometimes it's a little bit more than that, and that won't get rid of it. So if you've done 5 or 6 of those and you're still seeing the jet wandering, you're starting it and the jet's missing the hole altogether, and then you do it again, it's in a totally different place. That's what we call jet wandering, and we can fix that by flushing out the drop generator at the top here. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. Okay, so the tools you're going to need are a small Phillips screwdriver that fits the 2 tiny Phillips screw heads for the nozzle plate. Your cleaner, the right solvent base as what you're using in the printer. So if it's an MEK, you need an MEK solvent. You need either a replacement nozzle plate, because it could be a damaged nozzle plate that could be the issue. But you definitely need, for the process, you definitely need a replacement O-ring, the little rubber seal that goes at the back of this. The rubber seal, so here's the rubber seal. It's basically, you can get a pack of 10 of these, part number 210001-08, and they're a little little rubber seal that goes in the back of the nozzle plate. And then obviously a beaker to collect when we're flushing through, a beaker to collect all the waste ink. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, obviously move the print head so that it's onto a flat surface. These screws are very, very small, and it is very easy to lose them, drop them. First thing, you need a small Phillips screwdriver, the right size for these 2 screws at the front of the nozzle of the drop generator. The other thing is, make sure the printer has been turned off for a while. It is possible, if you've just turned it off, there is still a bit of pressure behind the nozzle plate here. So I'm going to go ahead and, on this flat surface, so that we don't lose the screws, I'm going to release the 2 screws. Right there, there's one. And then the other one. And you might get a little bit of seepage from the nozzle plate. Then I'm going to get a small flat-bladed screwdriver just to ease this nozzle plate off. Take this other screw out here. Now you see why we're doing it on a workbench. So this is the nozzle plate is off, and it is sided. And if you look at the one side there, you can see inscribed on it what the nozzle size is. And then let me just get this screw out here a second. There we go. So now, at the back end of where the nozzle was, there is a small, like an O-ring boot that goes over. So I'm going to carefully pry this off. There we go, that's off. Okay, so there's the little boot that comes off of that. Put that to one side. So now the print head is open, and we've took the two screws out, the nozzle plate out, and the little rubber O-ring that's behind that nozzle plate. So the next step, we're going to flush that through. So we've got the nozzle plate off, the two screws, the rubber O-ring or the seal behind the nozzle plate. Everything's off there. So we're going to start the printer up. Wait for that to boot up. So now the printer's booted up. We're going to go into the service screen and then into fluidic. And at the top here, you can see that it's got the run pump, target 40, actual PSI, and actual RPS. Next to it, you've got the up and down arrows. What we're going to do is we're going to create a little bit of pressure. So around about 6 PSI, 7 PSI. So we're going to hit the up arrow a few times. So first thing we're going to do is move the print head. We're going to hold this over a beaker because we need to collect the ink that comes in out of it. And we're going to hit the up arrow 5 or 6 times. And it takes a while for this to read, but in a little bit you'll start seeing the RPS. There you go, it's going up now, actual 2 RPS. I'm going to keep on hitting it up. 4 RPS, 4 PSI, a little bit more. Again, we need to get to around about 6 or 7 PSI. There's 7 PSI. All right. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up the print head valve. And you see there's ink coming out of the nozzle where the nozzle plate was. So it's going to make a mess. Now I'm just going to increase this up a little bit. So it comes out a little bit harder. Take it to around about 20 PSI. And then leave that running for a little bit. You can see it dripping out the bottom. We can then go ahead and hit the stop button. And just let the pressure deplete in the print head. Okay, now that it's stopped and the pressure's gone, we can get our cleaner and we can just wash down the print head, starting from the top, around where the little O-ring goes, or the seal, all the way down, charge electrode, phase detector, the 2 deflection plates, and then all the way around to the bottom face plate and the return gutter. Make sure everything's nice and clean. Okay, put that to one side. Let the print head dry. And then the process is going to be the reversal. What we need to do now is put a new O-ring or a rubber seal onto the drop generator, and it's like a little cap that fits in. And then once that's on, we can then place the nozzle plate on there, tighten the 2 screws up, and then see whether the jet is still aligned. If it's not, we need to do a jet alignment. So the next procedure is to replace the rubber seal. So I'm going to take one of these new rubber seals, and again, this is the part number. So I'm going to take one of these out. And there is a specific way that this goes on. It's like a boot that sits on a spigot inside the nozzle plate, inside the drop generator rather. So I'm going to very carefully put this on. This is fiddly. There we go. So we've got the little rubber boot on. That's sat nicely. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the nozzle plate. And again, the nozzle plate goes only one way. Okay. And if you look, if you look at the nozzle plate on this one corner, there's a chamfer on it. And then if you look at the actual drop generator, the bottom left there's also a chamfer on it that matches up. So it only goes on one way. Drop that down. We're going to get a screw and put that in there with the Phillips screwdriver. Be very, very careful not to cross thread these. Very easy to cross thread them, especially because you're coming in at an angle. So feel it for the first little bit, then get the second screw. Put that in. And then again, don't over tighten it. Don't strip the heads, but just tighten it down onto that seal. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start the jet back up and make sure the alignment's in. So a little trick here, if you want to make sure the alignment is in, obviously if the alignment's out and you're using ink to do the alignment, you're going to get a lot of spray everywhere. It's going to get dirty. So one of the things that I do just to get it in the ballpark is I actually go into the clean and print head clean, hit that button. I'll just put a beaker under it. And then what I'm looking for is to make sure that when I clean, and nothing's going to happen till around about 35–40%, but then the cleaner will come through and it will hit the return gutter, hopefully in the right place, and get vacuumed back or be close. One thing you're checking for when you're doing this is that this runs at around about 20 psi, so it's about half the pressure of the jet stream. So one of the things you can do is check, make sure that there's no leaks around the nozzle to make sure that seal has made a good seal again and gone back in the right place. So we're getting 32% now, so we're getting close. I got a warning saying my ink is low. So you see now that the alignment is out and it's coming out to one side, to the left side. So if that had been ink, it would have made a bit of a mess. So now I can go in and do the alignment and get it back into the hole. Okay, so I'm going to do another clean, and I've released the locking screw. So I'm going to use the adjusting screw now to adjust the alignment from left to right. So as soon as that 40% comes up, I will see the stream. On 27%, 32%. So it should start any moment now. And I need to move the jet to the right, so I'm going to turn the screw counterclockwise. Okay, so got it from left to right. Now I'm going to adjust it up and down and get it into the hole there. So we're close. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust it up and down. So I'm going to release the locking screw, which is actually this screwdriver. I'm going to release the this screw just a fraction, and start the print head clean again. And it needs to go to the back, so I'm going to lift the back end up of the drop generator again when it gets to 40%. So this process with the cleaner, we're just getting it close. So that it's in the hole and stays in the hole, in the gutter, return gutter hole. Once we've got it into the hole, then we can start the jet up and fine tune the alignment then. So there's the jet, and we're going to lift it a little. There we go. And you can hear the vacuum now working very well. So I'm going to lock this one off now. Okay. So now once we've done that, and we've getting good vacuum, all the streams going up into the vacuum, into the return gutter. So now what I can do is I can go to the main screen and hit start jet, and everything should be close enough to be able to just fine tune that the alignment. So we're going to hit the back button. From the main screen, we can go ahead and hit start. Just in case, offer a beaker underneath just in case it moves out. And we still haven't fixed the problem of the debris in the back of the nozzle plate. Should be jet starting anytime soon. And the alignment's slightly out. We're getting a lot of overspray there, but we're not getting the wandering anymore, which is good. Don't forget just to lock these screws up afterwards. And we're ready to go. We've now got a jet stream that is straight, it's not wandering, and we're ready to print.